Hello, my lovelies, and happy March and Pisces season. Just a quick few announcements. I have a new service launching this month. Signups are available now on my website. It's called Siren Gang. As you can see, you get mid-month readings. You get a weekly energy report starting this Sunday, this first Sunday in March, as well as a discount on all my services all the time. Link is in the description box if you're interested in that, and you can check it out. Also, the first 3 people to sign up for this service will get one of these 3 charms mailed to them from Gray Baby Gallery. Also, I'm doing a giveaway on my Instagram with Gray Baby Gallery, where if you tag a friend and you follow me and you follow her on Instagram, you will be put in a raffle to win one of the charms you see here. That post is going to go up on March 1st and will get cut off on the midnight, March 4th. So @_spiritual siren to get in on that, and you might want to turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. Also, for my NYC tri-state area fam, I know a lot of you voted for a weekend in June, but because of Father's Day and all this other stuff, it just wasn't going to happen. So I am coming to you on Sunday, May 27th, which is Memorial Day weekend. I have the venue all booked, and I will definitely be there. I also will be taking private readings on that Saturday and Monday, that Memorial Day. If you want to be the first one to know when those time slots and tickets drop, go to the link below and go to my website and sign up for that email so that you're the first to be notified. All that stuff will be dropping on the spring equinox on March 20th. And lastly, all my California stuff is on sale. Okay, so again, link in the description. I love you all. Let's get into the readings. All right, Taurus. So that took me a little while to get that card out, and that's not super common. So not that I think you're checking out this month. I just think that you have a lot on your mind and you're not really saying a whole lot either. The card that fell out is the 9 of Swords, and we have the Ace of Cups underneath that. So, you know, you guys had the most views last month with almost 20,000. So I'm glad that message really resonated on a widespread level. But it seems like here we're kind of unsure whether or not what we love, and this can be anything, but like what we have our heart in and what we want to give potentially another chance or a first real chance. Because sometimes we think we've given things chances, but we really haven't, because fear of the unknown controls so many people's lives. You know, none of us are really immune to falling into that trap. But the 9 of Swords is saying that there's a fear of love. There's an anxiety of following your emotions, of giving into your emotions, of really just not knowing what to do with how you feel, and especially when it comes to starting something new or initiating a new phase of something. With the 5 of Cups over here, when I split the deck, this tells me that it's old. This is an old fear that you haven't quite released. This could be like, let's say you're in a situation romantically or even work-wise that you're just not happy with, or even friendship-wise, family-wise, you're just not happy with. And you have every reason to leave, but you don't want to leave just because you're sick of starting over. Okay, the 5 of Cups oftentimes just reeks of the past. Reeks, yeah. Especially if you live with your partner or if this is someplace that you've like made your home. Okay? These cards fell out down here, and I'm just going to chat about them for a quick second. We have Justice, the Fool, High Priestess, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. So again, this creative energy ultimately is what comes out of everything, where when we heed our intuition and listen to our deep truth, right, that is more of a feeling than it is a physical message. We are reconnected and reunited with our true spark, and I feel like this is getting flooded with ideas and getting flooded with inspiration and getting flooded with the will to take action. Okay, on the other end of the spectrum here, we have the Justice and the Fool, which is saying that when we act justly, or when we take action that is for our own benefit, we have to have faith that the universe is going to allow all things to pan out in our favor. For some of you, this may be a court case that unfolds, or some new contract that unfolds that just sets you completely free from all of this. Or this could be what is causing the justice. Like, I don't know how I'm going to commit to something new. I don't know how I'm going to get a divorce. I don't know how I'm going to sever ties with this job that I've been with for so long. I don't know how I'm going to get through a breakup when I've intermixed, all of this with this person. But there's a very silent truth that you know. And your mind can be very loud this month with fears and taglines of why starting over is more work than staying in a shitty situation. But ultimately, you know your truth. You can't keep it a secret anymore. You can't keep this secret from yourself anymore. You have to go forward and seize it. Because if you don't seize it yourself, I think people are going to come in with the Knight of Wands here and start to kind of bombard you with the truth. And even if we know a truth, when it comes from outside of ourselves, it's a lot more dramatic, okay? And it's like, then it starts to become like, well, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I need to change. Don't tell me, when in the first place you knew. Anyways. So let's get into your whole spread and see what we have for March and Pisces season. All right, Taurus. Don't mind my gas station coffee. It's one of those days. We have a lot going on here. We have a lot of people here as well. But what I find so interesting is you have both the King and the Queen of Pentacles and the King and the Queen of Cups. So for those of you that are dominant water and earth, like if you're a Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, Cancer Moon, definitely, all three are really represented. We have a lot going on here. We also have Virgo energy being represented. But I think more than anything, because this is not really a love reading, though, I do think that love is playing a part in this. And this is similar to, Aries. Aries had this love rune in their heart space as well. And it is Pisces season, so we're adjusting to new frequencies of love. And I kind of talked about this in my Eclipse Revelation video. There's a sense of wholeness that you're claiming for the first time this month, Taurus. And I think it's a little terrifying to you. Because playing it safe really isn't an option anymore. It's kind of like Spirit is going to push you out of the bird's nest for not that it hasn't happened before, but it's kind of like it's going to feel like the first time. Because it's like you've never had this much asked of you when you got pushed out of the bird's nest. And it's like everything can be okay at work. Everything can be okay in like every aspect but one. And there's this one aspect that you're very emotionally invested in. And even though you don't, it's just like, I don't know how to say it. It's just like, that there's better out there for you and that you deserve to honor yourself in a better way and give yourself more freedom and give yourself more room to express and give yourself this deeper, bigger life. But it all comes down to you not wanting to fully surrender to change with the Death card in the in Spirit's advice. And I just was getting this sensation of like, I guess it's a little euphoric. It's kind of like, when, for those of you that drink or whatever, partake in some type of recreational substance, it's like, when it all just first hits you and you feel that buzz coming on, like you feel it in your body. It's not just mental. It's like you feel it in your body. You feel that wave of like full relaxation. And it's funny because I have it from the waist down. So it's like your feet have already determined that we cannot continue to trudge in the direction that is not desirable for our ultimate soul growth. But, you know, your solar, it kind of stops at your solar plexus. And it's like, but I haven't quite severed those cords. And I haven't quite pulled all my energy back to myself. And I haven't quite figured out how to live just for me. So my heart is kind of torn and I don't really know where to go. And there's just this overall half in, half out vibe. The overall energy this month is the Wheel of Fortune. So change is imminent. But the thing about the wheel versus the world is like you can continue to run on that same hamster wheel. You can continue to say to Spirit, you know what? I need another go around before I'm ready to really swallow this message and really grab a hold of this message and make it true and embody it and really come into alignment with this new resonance. Okay, because just because we know something in our mind or even our heart does not mean that we necessarily act on it. That is a, you know, a false notion. We can know a lot of things and still act out of ignorance or still act out of fear or still act out of pain. Okay, so let me just... Ooh. Okay, it's out of the way. Let me close this because I don't need those problems. All right. So what Spirit is asking you to release this month is the Six of Pentacles with the rune Safety. And we have the Five of Pentacles here. And I find this really fascinating, right? Because the Six of Pentacles, yes, it can talk about reciprocity. Yes, it can talk about power and who's distributing power to what. But the thing about the Six of Pentacles is someone is always begging. And someone always has all the chips, right? Someone always has the upper hand. It's about needing equality, but you don't establish said equality with the Six of Cups. Or excuse me, ooh. So definitely someone from the past. Or maybe you have a past that you've never seen equality in, or someone has always wielded power over you, and therefore you find it to be safer to be in a dynamic where you know that that person, you know, carries this weight over you and you carry this weight over that person. This can be a codependent dynamic as well, where the two of you need each other in some capacity, or you like to stay in a situation where you feel needed because you'd rather be in a scenario where like you know how it's going to turn out, like that kind of sure thing versus just going out on your own and seeing what life would be like without someone, you know, I want to say coming and going and tugging and, you know, toing and froing, you know, to and fro. It's this back and forth seesaw feeling. Okay. And with the Five of Pentacles here, at the very least, whatever this is about, whether this is a loved one, like a, you know, non-romantic loved one or an actual, romantic situation, or if this is just how you feel with your own self, the Five of Pentacles is saying, at the very least, there's physical distance, okay? If not emotional distance, you know, cognitive dissonance, like there's just this separation. And it's almost like you stay in a scenario that you know, like the love is not there, the reciprocity can't be there. I feel like something is preventing it again because of this distance. Someone's either physically too far away to offer you the level of reciprocity that you need, or they're just not on the same wavelength as you, but it's like your lives are too intertwined, either financially or even emotionally. Because the thing about the Pentacles is they're practical energies. Okay, I've been working with the Lemurian seed quartz recently because I feel like the energy right now is all about future timelines. Yeah, Two of Swords. We have the Seven of Swords. So there's a decision that you need to make, Taurus, in terms of, is like a sure thing feeling like, is it even really safe, right? we can only ultimately set expectations for ourselves. So even if this person perpetually disappoints you and you feel that that is safer than going out by yourself and just being alone, you know, with the Seven of Swords here, don't be deceived, you know, because it's almost like this feeling of like, I can't start again. Yeah, we have the Lovers. It's almost this feeling of like, I can't start again and again with a lover, or it's like you feel you've gone too far down this life path that turning around now would be detrimental, yep, to all the work that you've done. We have the Tower. So you really need to reassess how safe your idea of safety is, okay? Even if you're the partner with all the money and you could do everything without your other half, or, you know what I mean, the other person in your life, is that even enough? You know, there's things that you regard as what keeps you safe, and you exchange them with another person, right? To feel stable. But there's so much dissonance in this scenario. There's so much loneliness. There's so much just, I'm really feeling defeat. And you need to know that there's more out there for you. Okay? There is more out there for you. And these add to 11. So again, this fixates on partnership and coming into your own individual alignment of divine masculine and divine feminine, because we do not need to be completed by another person. And the longer we wait to speak our truth, the longer we wait to set ourselves free from a scenario that we know does not suit us, the longer we play small, the harder it is going to be to sever the tie. Why? Because you're selling yourself a dream or a lie for an extended period of time. And the betrayal that you feel is self-betrayal. And that's why it's so upsetting. Because you're like, oh my God, I didn't see the message again. I went down the wrong path again. And that in itself is upsetting. You know what I mean? We don't ever want to, you know, really come to terms with the fact that we're misguided. But it really isn't being misguided, because ultimately we always arrive in the destination that we're required to. All right, the door that's not open that was once closed. We have the Queen of Pentacles with both the Ace of Cups and the Hermit. And on the Ace of Cups, we have protection. So again, there's this feeling here of you shielding yourself from being rejuvenated. You shielding yourself from feeling the overflow of love as a vibration in your life and knowing that it's possible. Now, some of you may need to protect yourself from other people that say they love you, but clearly through their actions do not love you. And I say that because we have the Hermit here, and this could be a Virgo. This could be, you know, you have an opportunity to, you know, maybe reestablish a friendship with a Virgo or something like that. But I don't really feel like that's overall the case. This really, for me, feels like you have the opportunity to, this screams self-love. Really reinvest in yourself. And even if you can't physically break away from that person because you both, you know, are on the same lease or, you know, whatever. And I'm sorry, this is more, it's probably sounding more romantic, but this really could be a friend. This could be any situation where you're not, where things are out of balance. And you've known that for a while, but you continue to feed into it because it just seems easier than doing what it takes to dismantle the scenario. Okay? This could be work. I don't think it's as much work as it is emotionally invest in something with an emotional investment. Friends, family, home life, romantic life. Okay? So even if you can't physically separate yourself, it's imperative that you begin investing time and energy into things that you do completely alone. Okay? And I mean, no one likes to be alone at the end of the day. You know, we all like to be surrounded by people, you know, as much as even the hermits, you know, we like to be around people too. But in order to really tap back into the well of love and worth that you, self-worth that you have within you, to reconnect with your abundant nature and your very capable nature, because I don't think that you feel capable to build your own life right now. I feel like you think you need somebody else to be a part of it in order to keep on keeping on, excuse me. spending time alone and really reflecting on what makes Taurus Taurus. What do I really gain out of these situations that I give my energy to? Or what do I, gain out of these scenarios where I give my energy away? You know what I mean? And what do I get back? And ask yourself if, Three of Swords. Ultimately, I feel like this situation is bound by mutual pain trauma, which we all have people in our life, even if they have not specifically hurt us, that the way we relate to them most is through our pain. Think about the friends that you talk to that are like, oh, and this happened, and this happened. Oh, remember when this happened? It's like you bond over pain. We bond over pain all the time. Okay, so really break away and ask yourself if it's worth continuing to carry that wound in order to feel like you relate to somebody. Okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have the Queen of Cups. In your heart, the Chariot with the Ruined Love. And in your foundation, the High Priestess with the Ruined Future. Now, with High Priestess showing back up, in future being the Rune with her, you have to know that it's not that you need to do everything tomorrow, and it's not that you need to execute all of these changes overnight, but you've been feeling this, I just got the chills. Woo. You've been feeling this need to shift for a while, because the future that you really desire requires more from you than you're allowing yourself to output right now. And sometimes it's because we get ourselves in situations that like literally are limiting, or we surround ourselves with people that are limiting. But we do that so we can learn how to reclaim our power and break chains. Okay? So the future is not in physical form. The future is in energy. The future is in feeling. So it's imperative that you begin to listen, okay, to yourself. Listen to what your body is telling you. Listen to what your emotions are telling you. Listen to what those little, I want to say like radio frequencies are putting off in your environment. Now, because there's two complete sets of kings and queens here, again, there's this demand for feminine and masculine balance within the body and within the individual human. Okay, and that completion only can come within yourself. And it's not that you can't end up being completed or whatever while you're in a relationship or while you're in a friendship or while you're in and around people, but it's an individualistic effort. No one makes it happen for you. And for me, notice how these two queens have very similar mannerisms. They're both looking down at the object that they're holding. Both kings have an object in each hand and are looking towards the future, right? They're on a slighted turn towards the future. So this reminds us that the feminine energy within us all is the receptor, okay? She's the inspiration. She's the one that feels things out and senses things and then channels that energy into her masculine form, which goes forth and does, and that allows for the future to be formulated in the physical. But far before it starts getting built into the physical, you need to heed the perception of the feminine in the non-physical, which is why the High Priestess is sitting here, because this is a stagnant energy. So it's like if you want to emotionally move forward in your idea of love, on the things that you love, with the people that you love, if you want to see change in what you identify as love in your life, it is imperative that you begin to really acknowledge what you've allowed to hold you back and what is your strength and what have you already accomplished and conquered, okay? Because the Chariot is ruled by Cancer, and Cancer is extremely tentative. They know, I've learned that Cancer knows how they feel off rip. Off rip. Okay? However, they don't share that. They wait and they wait and they wait because they want to see how other people are going to react before they share their emotions. Because this way, they can quickly retract into their shell and they don't have to They don't have to, you know, defend themselves. Because crabs can't really defend themselves. They're not like a Scorpio. They're not like a scorpion who can sting quick and kill. Crabs need to run, and they only see sideways. So they're not going very fast. Okay? So in order to defend ourselves sometimes, we hold on to baggage so that we can kind of say to ourselves, you know what? I'm just going to stay in this vibration. I'm just going to stay at this octave of expression because it's easier than acknowledging everything that I don't want to unpack. But the true victory of the heart is acknowledging when we're insecure. It's acknowledging what we struggle to let go. It's acknowledging what we're stubborn about. If we're not willing to speak how we feel, it's going to be really hard to mobilize and act on your emotional truth. Okay? So if you seek change, especially in how you feel, Taurus, you need to speak on that. I don't think you're going to do it this month. I kept getting that vibe when I was shuffling your cards. It's a very silent month, but that's okay. Write it down. Acknowledge it in some capacity, whether it be through a meditative practice or a yoga practice or reading books. Like, you just need to acknowledge it. Just don't, whatever you do, don't stuff it down. I don't think that you will, but I just need to say that. Spirit's advice for you is the Death card with the rune Healing and the King of Pentacles. So regardless of your gender, I do feel like all Tauruses are healing their masculine energy this month. Okay? And how are they going to do that? Through accepting the power of their feminine energy. Because even though Taurus is technically a feminine energy to begin with, being ruled by Venus, it's usually really feminine in the sense that it's Venusian, right? So it's like, oh, give me the food, give me the luxury, give me the relaxation, whatever. But that beauty has to be channeled somewhere. You know? That essence has to be channeled into something. So when you acknowledge that you're not, that, you know, every sign plays a role and has a strength, okay? And it's just like you can't downplay yourself anymore. I know you want to like really control how things end and therefore begin again, but the more we like pull on the reins and try to stop this freight train, like the harder it's going to be. Like, did you ever see a train in a movie where they try to slam on its brakes really fast and it's just fire coming off the wheel? It's just sparks flying. Like, you don't want to potentially start a forest fire because you all of a sudden like wait to the last minute to pull the brakes on something. Okay? Let her down easy. And you'll be able to do that by focusing on the future that you can feel within you now. You're planting seeds within you now. Your birthday's only a month and a half, 2 months away, and your time is coming. Okay? It's imminent. So you don't need to be stressed out about it. But it does require surrender. If you want to feel like you're full, capable, secure, I have it all together self, you need to accept that through surrender and through being vulnerable and saying, you know what, I don't have all the answers. You know what, I do need help. I do need to reflect on who I am. You know, I haven't, like, this is just a state of acceptance. Because you know what, death is going to come through and end it all regardless. Okay? But this could become a struggle. We don't have the Tower card here yet. We don't have any Swords cards here yet. This doesn't have to be a big project. But healing does require that we surrender to how we feel. We surrender to the fact that maybe we have been stubborn. Maybe we have been trying to do everything the way that we think is best. But if you really want to build a future based on what has transpired here and what you have learned about the way that your feelings do or do not manifest out into the world, and they do or do not get met with reciprocity, you need to kind of start to yield this idea that you can do it all by yourself. Okay? Which brings us into the end of the month, into April, which we have the Page of Pentacles with the rune Success and the King of Cups. This reminds you that true success is achieved through emotional and physical balance. Meaning, we need to be both logical and emotionally in tune. because without one without the other, it's just too much. You know what I mean? This is about balance. And the Page of Pentacles is saying, it's okay to be a student. It's okay to still be learning. It doesn't matter how old you are. We always have something new to learn. That is the beauty of this journey. And what I love so much about being on a spiritual journey is that you can revisit the same teaching over and over again and still find a message every time. And a lot of times it's the exact same message, like the exact same paragraph, and it just hits you different. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that last time? So in order to be successful, it's almost like you're stepping down from being king and being a page again. It's saying like, you know what? I don't know everything. I don't have it all under control. I do need to rebuild myself. This could be because you do break away from a relationship or people, or you just, I feel like you're rebuilding yourself with success as the basis. And the reason that success is the basis now and it wasn't before is because you're doing it for you on your own terms, and you're not including anyone in your plan that, and it's not because people shouldn't be with you or can't be with you. It's just because, again, we can't control where life takes other people. So we have to live for ourselves. So the emotional security and stability and the clear-headedness that you're really seeking comes from acknowledging your emotions, not allowing them to overwhelm you, but to allow them to flow when they do arise so that you don't get hit like a brick wall, and you will begin to succeed in this new opportunity to kind of learn who you are again. And I just keep getting this like begin again vibe. I feel like it's a song too. So don't be scared to go back into the womb, Taurus. You know, it is Pisces season, and you know, Aries season technically kicks off the new year. So really get into those feelings, man. It's a good time. Jeez. Oh. I deserve to have a successful career, and I accept it now. The perfect job is looking for me, and we are being brought together now. So if money is the issue, if work is the issue, or if just being appreciated is what the focus is, know that you are deserving. How you feel is important. What makes you feel complete is important. Just know that at the end of the day, it's your job to grant yourself that, okay? Taurus, I love you. Be back soon. Peace.